Line's good.
Never on.
Whoa.
Hard. Hardly.
Come on, Brent.
Line's good.
Got real close.
The hair high, right?
Try and hit 2/3.
Have they saved it for her? Yes, they have.
Ooh, welcome to Game of Stones, everybody. I am Sean Graham. Scott not alongside. He's off painting his toenails, but have no fear. I am not flying completely solo today because this week I was out in Las Vegas, Nevada for the 2022 Men's World Curling Championship. So I wanted to share some of the audio that I was able to get from that event. A lot going on in Las Vegas as we record this. Canada and Sweden have booked their spots in the playoffs, and then you have a bit of a logjam everywhere else in the field. Should be a lot of fun as we get set for the final day of round robin competition out in Vegas, and then what should be a very eventful run through the playoffs. So to get you set for it, wanted to go through some of the stuff that we were talking about out in Vegas this week, and let's start with the rocks and the ice. A lot of discussion about the ice conditions and the state of the rocks out there in Las Vegas. Some of the players were not particularly happy with it. Came up quite frequently in the post-game chats. So let's kick things off by hearing from some of the players. Start with Ross Patterson, then Oskar Eriksson, Korey Dropkin, Brad Gushue, Amos Mosaner, and we'll wrap with Magnus Ramsfjell. So here they are talking about the ice conditions.
I think so. I mean, that's basically it. I mean, everybody says you can't win a championship at the start of the week, and I think certainly for ourselves we had a good start against Italy, and then the Korea game was just one of those games. It was nip and tuck, and last night we just got a little bit more affected by the ice than what we should have done for being an experienced team. So I think it's the same with a lot of teams. The first few games you're trying to suss things out a little bit, but the ice was great there, so we felt happy on it, and I think it's using that experience from the early games to try and build momentum as the week goes on.
Every championship you get on new ice, new rocks, so it's always a little bit tricky in the beginning to know exactly what to expect. So we get 15 minutes of practice before the tournament starts on every sheet, so you try to figure out the rocks, make sure you have a decent pair, if we have any differences within the 8 rocks we have, and try to get a feel for how much curl we have all 4 ways, to the middle and to the wings. So we just got fooled a couple of times early on, and which we didn't expect, but yeah, this is the first game in every championship basically, so just try to make the basic shots and wait for the tougher, more precise run backs, taps, all those kind of shots later on this week.
It's always nice getting on the ice, and it was a little bit tough for us at first. It was swinging a little bit more than we were thinking, and just spent a few ends really getting used to how exactly we wanted to throw the rock with a little bit more of a pop. Just kind of losing some rocks a little bit early in the game by just not giving it enough at the release. But once we started getting the hang of that and getting our hit weights up to par, things we're making more shots. Things were coming off a little bit smoother, and yeah, it was it's nice grinding one out like that.
I wasn't dramatically better. Like there were still some spots where it would jump, but it certainly was better than the first 4 games, and I think we know what to experience. We changed our deliveries a little bit, where we've added some rotation and trying to be a little bit more positive on our releases to stop those rocks from grabbing whatever it is. So I think those 2 adjustments have allowed us to make a few more shots.
And on a scale of 1 to 10, I guess how comfortable did you feel today with the ice and the rocks? I know they're not as lively as maybe what you're used to playing with.
Yeah, and they don't seem to be matched as well either. We used these at the Slams a number of years ago, and we got rid of them because they were tough. So I'm not sure why they were brought back here, but comfort level, it's growing. I don't know if I could put a number on it because, we talked about these ice conditions. We're not going to be able to play at the level that we played in Lethbridge or in Saskatoon at the trials just because it's not conducive. So, I don't know if we'll ever get to a 10 out of 10, but we got to kind of accept that we're going to have a few more misses and you know, an 80-85% game is pretty good out here, where, you know, in Lethbridge you're looking to curl 90-95%. So it's just a different perspective, and with those misses you want to try and limit the damage that you do, and so far we've been doing a good job of that.
Brad, in terms of the rocks and ice, what are you looking for maybe event to event coming in, like in terms of consistency? Like, does it have to be the same like prior to this? Or,
absolutely not. No, it's actually fun when it's different. The only thing you ask for at each event is that it's kind of consistent. You know, if it's 4 feet of curl, you know it's 4 feet of curl. It's not going to be 4 feet on one rock and 6 feet on another rock. That's kind of all you look for. It's actually nice when you play some variation, and we're quite spoiled in Canada that we play on a lot of ice that curls 5 feet, 24 and a half, 25 seconds. So when you get a bit of variation, I'm okay with that. I just want to see it being consistent, so you know when you put the broom down, it's in the right spot, and then you just got to execute the throws. So that's kind of been the challenge so far this week for a lot of the teams, is we're getting some inconsistent results.
How are you guys feeling in terms of ice, rocks, now that we're starting to get into the week a little bit? Are you getting more comfortable?
Yeah, a little bit, yes. I mean, like I said, we struggled a little bit this game, but we try to improve in the next one, try to make the good shot and try to win.
I noticed very much the heavy weights. If you give them a little bit like out from the broom, they will just keep sliding out. So I had a blank where we took like very safe ice, so I can like pop it out, and then it just keeps going out and out and out, and then it actually missed. So, so that's one of those adjustment stones that we needed to like kind of get into the groove and get going.
And in terms of just the stones and making those adjustments, like how long does it usually take you at an event to really feel locked in, to feel comfortable with ice, stones, weight, all that kind of stuff?
I guess it depends. So recently we haven't played that many tournaments. We'd like to play more, but there's just not that many on. So I'm guessing it's gonna take a bit longer now, but usually I'd say like 2 or 3 games, maybe even more. The first time, or the only tournament championship we played together, we only really got good until like the 8th or 9th game. Hopefully it'll be better this time.
So hopefully the conditions improve over the course of the weekend, and the players, they seem more comfortable than they did early in the week. So hopefully that continues. Now, one thing that's a lot of fun at this year's World Championship, we got some debuting players, one of whom is Korey Dropkin, making his debut as Team USA at the World Championship. He talked a little bit about what it was like to make that debut at the Worlds.
You know, it feels great. It's nice to, you know, have the home crowd, and it's great to see all the fans out there. There's a lot of family out there that came to watch and cheer us on. So it's always exciting when they can see those faces in the stands. And you know, it's the first World Championship for the Young Bucks, and we're pretty happy with, you know, going out there and getting a win to start off, and kind of getting our feet wet and just used to the ice here. So it's good.
Now, another debut is Lukas Klima from the Czech Republic. They almost made it into the Olympics, lost their last 2 games at that final Olympic qualifier. So he and his team are making their debut at the Worlds as well. So let's hear from him on what that's been like for the Czech team.
Yeah, probably we were discussing that if we get any breaks from them, it will be probably at the beginning, because they had few misses, which I don't believe they will have in the second half of the tournament. Actually, these misses kept us in the game. Otherwise, it could have been quicker. But yeah, we had our chances, but we just made too many misses.
For you guys as a team, you've had a pretty good season so far, from afar, what I've seen. Like, so how do you sort of assess your season to this point in terms of your expectations for the week?
Yeah, we had decent Europeans. Then we were really close to qualifying for the Olympics. Lost last 2 games, which was like a big heartbreak. But still, our goal, we are trying to go game by game, obviously. But our goal is to get into top 6, which means playoffs. It's like almost like top half. So it's definitely doable, but we have to work hard for it.
Now, Lukas Klima is not flying totally solo into the World Championship, as Craig Saville is on the bench as the team coach. Of course, Saville has a ton of World Championship experience. So I talked to him a little bit about working with the team and trying to make sure that they can benefit from all of his experience at the international level.
There's a couple factors. This is the first Worlds for these guys. Like, this is their biggest event they've played in. first time for a lot of these guys in North America, Vegas, world stage. I mean, we're adding up a whole bunch of little checklists, right, and check boxes for these guys. So I knew it would be a little bit till they get settled, and you know that's a big part of what we've talked about is, you know, let's embrace this situation and learn from it and get better as we go, and that's been our goal.
Yeah, so in terms of those first, you obviously have the experience of being at this level. How do you take that approach to use that they can use your experience, potentially, or benefit from your experience at events like this?
Well, just learning how these events run and how to prepare yourself both before the event, during the event as well. And you know, I've obviously played a whole bunch of these before, and you know, it's just there's little things that you can do to help as the week goes on, and but at the same time, no one ever plays great the first time out in these big spiels, and you have to get some games under your belt, and that's what these guys are doing for the future.
And while not a debut, Amos Mosaner and his team from Italy, perhaps playing on a different level now, as Amos himself is coming off that gold medal in the mixed doubles with Stefania Constantini over in Beijing at the Olympic Games. So I talked with him about that gold medal and how things have changed for him and the state of Italian curling heading into 2026.
I mean, a lot of interview in Italy, a lot of people start to know curling because we are just like 300-400 players, and no one know that sport, but now they understand what it is, and that's fine for us, because for the Italian curling and for the next Olympics we need more player and more people following us.
Yeah, so everyone seems to think that 2026 is the focus for Italian curling. Do you feel like you're ahead of schedule for where you want to be in 2026, given the results you had in Beijing?
Yeah, of course. We have to finish this season, and then we're thinking about for the big picture for 2026. Of course, we want to go there and try to make medals, maybe. Of course, it's not easy because every country make the best curling. Try the best curling in the world, but of course with the Olympics at home we need to play good and try to make maybe another medal.
So with Italy on the rise, you have a couple other countries here. Very interesting that their top teams, or what we might associate as their top teams, are not participating, as Peter de Cruz is not there for Switzerland, Bruce Mowat not there for Scotland, and Thomas Ulsrud not playing for Norway. So I talked with Yannick Schwaller, Ross Patterson, and Magnus Ramsfjell about the state of curling in their respective countries, the rivalries that they have with these other teams. And I should note that I did talk with Yannick Schwaller before the Peter de Cruz news was announced that team will no longer be playing together. But here are his thoughts about that team, as well as I say, Ross Patterson and Magnus Ramsfjell.
Yeah, of course, it's our first one. We had to fight a lot back at home to do that. You shouldn't forget two other Swiss teams. They're quite up and coming. One is playing at the Players next week. So I guess we're going to have more Swiss teams that are in the mix for in the future. But still, the rivalry, it was there, and sometimes a bit more bitter, sometimes a bit more on our side. And it's still a friendship, I guess, out there. But still, in the end, on the ice, you want to win.
It's rivalry, but at the same time, they're all some of our best friends that are in the teams as well. So it's a bit of a strange setup. I know curling communities like that as well. We've all come from same towns. We've all kind of curled together. I'm a little bit older than some of those guys, but like Hammy was my best man at my wedding and things like that. So it's a tight knit community, but it doesn't mean the rivalry is not pretty fierce. And those guys have done so well over the last few years. They've just kind of built momentum and got better and better, and you know we're aspiring to kind of get that consistency. You know, I think we've got the quality in the team. It's just trying to find that level of consistency. And with Craig coming in this year, you know, it's a new setup. You've got you maybe take it for granted a little bit when you've got somebody like Mike with a lot of experience that things are just going to click straight away. But it's a lot of hard work that has to go on behind the scenes. And you know, the two results we had this year weren't what we wanted, but you've got limited tour events you can play in, and we had to condense a 5-week period of travelling to Canada and twice and Europe and trying to maybe gamble a little bit and getting early success, and it didn't quite work out. So we put a big emphasis into work off the ice and recognising where we had areas we had to be better. And since then we've had a sort of good year so far, and yeah, I'm just delighted that we're here, get that opportunity.
So Team All-Star has been a good couple of 4 years, and I expect they'll form a team next year as well. Maybe not the same players, but they'll be strong as always. And we're going to be here with the same team, and we've been kind of prepping for this point and trying to be the young and coming guys, up and coming, and hopefully going to get some opportunities to play more World Championships and Europeans, and try to fight to be the best team in Norway. But, it's nice to have 2 good teams instead of just one, just Team Olsrud at the top. Now there's 2, giving Schwaller some competition, and it's going to be an exciting Olympic cycle.
Of course, one of the reasons those teams aren't playing here is the Olympics and the timeline from the Olympics to the World Championship. There are a couple players who are participating here who did play in the Olympic Games. I already heard from Amos Mosaner. A couple others are Brett Gallant and Oskar Eriksson. Oskar Eriksson, of course, double medalist in Beijing. Brett Gallant played with Team Gushue, of course, and is planning as well on playing in the Mixed Doubles World Championship, as well as the Players and the Champions Cup. He said he was going to try to play in all of those events coming up. So I asked both Brett Gallant and Oskar Eriksson how they're feeling given their heavy workloads over the past couple months.
Honestly, feeling not bad. We played a lot of big competitions and pressure tournaments, but in all honesty, we haven't played a lot of tournaments all year. We played a pretty quiet fall. We played one in Spiel at the end of November. We played the Olympics in February, and we played the Brier. So we haven't played a lot. It's been a lot of time on the road and a lot of time under intense competition. But my body feels good, and if we can maintain that and be mentally good at the end of the week, we should be fine.
Probably if Beijing was 100%, I don't think I'm at 100 right now. But we're here in beautiful Las Vegas. Makes it a little bit easier too. You have the pool. You can just go out and relax in between games. So I think for every game that goes on, I think the motivation will rise, and we really want that 4th straight gold medal.
Oskar Eriksson there does talk about the 4th straight World Championship that the team is going for. It did bring to mind this question of where does the World Championship fit in the curling landscape here in 2022 when so much is focused on the Olympic Games. That's why we've had so many teams break up in the last little while. The focus is very much on that 4-year cycle, looking ahead to the next Olympics. That has already started. People are looking ahead to the 2026 Olympics over in Italy. So I wanted to get a sense of, for the players, how does the World Championship stack up? So I talked with Niklas Edin, Korey Dropkin, Brett Gallant, Craig Saville, and Brad Gushue on that very important question.
I think the Olympics have been very dominant, so to speak, in terms of what you need to win during your career. But I think now with the bigger fields and the much tougher fields at the Worlds than compared to like 10 years ago when you had 12 teams and 6 of them were maybe tough to lose against for the top teams, to be fair. So I think we're seeing a totally different kind of event now. It's much tougher physically and mentally to go through a World Championship now. And I think, winning these, it's almost harder than to win the Olympics, except for the pressure and except for the once every 4-year kind of thing. But as an event and like seeing which teams are in it, these are almost tougher now.
Both the Olympic trials, and a national championship, have sort of the same feeling, although the Olympic trials, those are to go to the Olympic Games. Nationals, those are to go to the World Championships. Obviously, the Olympic Games only happens once every 4 years, but, when you're a child growing up, you want to be playing at the biggest stage, and those are the Olympic Championships and the Olympic Games and the World Championships. We're thrilled to be here. This is, no less exciting than anything else for us. This is, the biggest event that we've been to, and we're really just loving it. So we're going to make sure we get the most out of this and really just play our hearts out here. There's no need to downplay a World Championship, because World Championships, that all the best teams in the world here. So it's pretty exciting to be here and the lights in New Orleans here.
For us, while we were proud of our bronze medal at the Olympics, I think there's still a little bit of unfinished business coming with the bronze, and we're always trying to stand at the top of the podium every week. So for us, maybe a little bit of unfinished business coming and playing against the best teams in the world, and we'd love to do one or two better this week.
Well, I think you kind of break down that 4 years into single seasons. And World Championships right up there. I think most of these guys want to check the box of getting to the World Championships and then getting to the Olympics as well. So the Olympics is the golden nugget, I think, for sport, and then the World Championships is there. So every year, hey, there's lots of goals of Europeans and the World Championships for these guys. So if we break it down there, yeah, the Olympics is down there, but it's 4 years away, so there's lots of other goals we want to achieve before getting there.
I think it varies from country to country and place to place. Like I heard Joel talk about getting into the Players' Championship and how he's more excited to play that than this year. But he's had the opportunity to play, probably a dozen of these in his career. So I can understand that perspective. But from a Canadian perspective, the World sometimes is a once in a lifetime opportunity. So it's very important. But then also, maybe in Canada, there's a little bit higher priority on the Brier and Scotties than there would be on this. So it really varies from team to team and country to country.
So there you have it. A little bit of the audio from my trip over in Las Vegas, Nevada for the Men's World Championship. Really fun event. The attendance, not what I'm sure anyone was hoping for, but given world circumstances, hard to really be upset about it. Maybe it was optimistic to try to go back to Vegas at this point, given the realities of how those Vegas events take place and how they've been successful in the past. And I think they will be successful in the future, but can't really blame anybody for that. There's a lot of optimism over the past couple of years, and we'll see hopefully the weekend with the playoffs. You see bigger crowds over there at the Orleans Arena because it is a wonderful facility for curling, and the folks there, both the staff, volunteers, always put on a great show and continue to this week. Everyone who I dealt with was really great, so I thank the volunteers and the staff at the Orleans, as well as the WCF Curling Canada for their help over the course of my time in Vegas for the Men's World. So that's going to be it for this week. Thank you so much for listening, everybody. A little different type of an episode this week. Hope you enjoyed that one, hearing from some of the players. We'll be back to a bit more normal-ish episode next week as we talk about who comes out on top here in Las Vegas and who will win this World Championship. Will Niklas Edin be able to get his 4th straight? Will Brad Gushue go out with a World Championship, or will it be somebody who maybe we don't expect coming through those playoffs? So have to see how it all plays out. Very much looking forward to watching along with you. So if you have not yet, please do subscribe to the show wherever you get your podcast. Do the likes, ratings, comments, all that good stuff to help other people find the show. Keeps us growing here. And you can head on over to GameOfStonesPod.com. All of our past episodes are there, plus the merch is available under the merch tab. All proceeds to the Sandra Schmirler Foundation and Food Banks Canada. Of course, we are matching those. So head on over, check all that stuff out. And of course, you can let us know what you want to hear on the show, GameOfStonesPodcast@gmail.com. So thanks again, everybody. Hope you're staying safe out there, feeling good. We'll be back with you again next week. But until then, keep those brooms on the ice and don't dump that intern.